Good evening and welcome to our EFL Prediction League. I'm King Bush and Bez is with us. How you doing, Bez? It's been a tough week.
Well, as good as can be, obviously, after a poor day and just a poor season from our club's point of view. But it can't be out. Let's just get this season over and done with and obviously reset for next season. We're looking forward to this. I quite like doing these fiction videos.
Yeah, I enjoy doing them, but I mean, at the minute, it's so unpredictable, this league. It's frustrating how unpredictable it is. I mean, nobody thought Portsmouth would go win the other day, and Sheffield Wednesday draw with Coventry.
Yeah. It just shows that what a bit of hard work can do as well. You don't have to have a team, just a bit of hard work and you can get results.
Bit of belief. That's it.
Yeah.
Right, we'll start with the first game then. Blackburn versus Coventry. Now, I've gone 1-0 to Coventry. I think I were very close to giving this a draw. But Blackburn lost the last game. They've drawn a couple as well. But Coventry drawing with Sheffield Wednesday. They've drawn the last two games, Coventry. And I just think they'll edge this one. But it wouldn't surprise me if Blackburn do get a draw against them. But I've gone 1-0. I think they'll sneak it. But squeaky bum time for Coventry. 2 draws on the trot now for them. After previously 2 wins and a defeat. So, yeah. I've gone 1-0 Coventry.
Yeah, I've gone a bit more convincing. I've gone 2-0 Coventry. And I just think it's the sort of game where, you're right, Coventry have had a couple of difficult games where they've only got draws. They're still unbeaten in 4. And both of those draws they had were 0-0. So I do think they'll keep a clean sheet because they've kept a clean sheet in the last 2 games. I just think they've got enough quality to score a goal. Blackburn, I obviously said that Blackburn were never going down, and I don't think they are going down. They're 48 points, 4 points over Oxford. Oxford have got a game in hand. I think Blackburn need one more win to guarantee safety, but unfortunately for them, I don't think it'll come in this game. So, I'm sticking with Blackburn 0, Coventry 2.
Next up, we've got Derby County versus Oxford United. So, obviously, I need to do an apology to Derby, really. I did predict them to go down. And in fairness, they've had a decent season. You can't knock them. Currently sat in 8th. I know they lost the last game, but I just think, they've overachieved for me. I do like the manager at Derby. I think he's a good manager. So if they can keep hold of him and build on that, they may have a stronger season. But like I said, I did think they would struggle. Oxford, I think they'll get relegated. I don't think they've got enough quality. I think getting rid of Garrett Rowett was probably the biggest mistake of the season. And for me, I can only see one winner here. I know Derby have got a couple of attacking issues at the minute with injuries, but I still think they'll have enough to beat Oxford. And as well, what I will say is the attendances for Derby County this season have been very impressive. They've really backed the team, and it's sort of seen them sort of with a top half finish. So I'm going to go 2-0.
Yeah, very similar. I've just gone 2-1 instead of 2-0 to Derby. I've always liked John Eustace, like yourself. I didn't think they were ever going to go down. I think to be fair to Derby, they seem to be progressing now each year. So obviously 2 years ago they won the promotion on the 4-1. Eustace came in last year and they were in danger of going down, and he managed to keep them up. And this is a progressive season for him because even if they lost every single game between that end of the season, they'd still finished in the top half. It's been a very good season in my opinion. I mean, I would say that Derby has spent a little bit of money. That Ajimanu's been very good. I think he cost quite a lot of money. It's not a case of.
Do you think Oxford can stay up though? I mean, you've given it a pretty close game. I mean, Oxford won the last game. What they played. Do you think Oxford can stay up? I think they'll go down. There is rumour though that West Ham could be West Brom. So you could be right, and I'd be wrong here. But West Brom could be getting a points deduction this season.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, just with Oxford, like the reason I've gone closer than you is because, like, what we do tend to see, and this is the only team it doesn't happen to is Rotherham. But what I always tend to notice is when a team is fighting relegation, when they're coming towards the end of the season, and it's a case of if they lose the next game, then they're almost out of it. You tend to see that team battle and perform. You know, Northampton last time I looked were playing Luton. As of now, the time we're recording, and everyone would have said Luton easy win. Their form's okay. Northampton's not won for ages, but as it stands now, it's like 1-1, and it's just proof that because they know that if they lose or don't win, they go down. So players do tend to work harder, and that's why I think this will be close because Oxford will work hard. Say that again, Lee.
Unless they play for Rotherham and then they just...
Yeah, and that's why I do get frustrated about Rotherham as well. I mean, just Oxford, you asked me the question about do I think they can stuff up? Now, Oxford will win one of their games because this is their 4. Now, when I tell you these 4, let me know what you think about the relegation form. So, Derby away, I think it's a defeat. Wrexham at home, I think that's a difficult game. They could get a draw, but a difficult game. The next game after Wrexham is their biggest game of the season. It's Sheffield Wednesday at home. They should win that game. The issue is the last game of the season is Millwall away. So if they got, let's say, 4 points, would that be enough to keep them up? Probably not. So I think Oxford are going down. I do think they'll get the 3 points against Wednesday, but it'll not be enough. So I'm sorry, Oxford fans. I think you're down. And we'll come to obviously Leicester and West Brom later on.
Then we've got Millwall versus QPR. I've gone a straight 2-0 victory. QPR, nothing to play for. Not very good away from home either. Millwall, I know they're sort of a bit rocky at the minute. A loss and a draw in the last 2 games, down to 3rd. But I think Millwall will have too much for them at home. I think they'll go London sort of derby, is it? I don't know how far it is from QPR, but yeah, 2-0 I've gone.
Yes, it's a London derby. I mean, yeah, again, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I've gone 2-0 as well. It's almost the perfect game for Millwall after a couple of not so good results. I mean, we did say, we both want Millwall to go up. We've said that on here. But we did say we thought they'd run out of steam, and they have done, unfortunately. I do think they'll win this game, but I just don't see them getting that second place, unfortunately. I think, for me, it's between Ipswich and now Southampton, but obviously we'll come on to Southampton later on. QPR, yeah, very boring season. They're currently 11th. They're undefeated in 5. It might be more than that, but what I'm looking at only shows last 5 games. So fair enough to, fair play QPR. I don't think they're ever going down, but these 5 results have seen them jump up about 5 or 6 places in the last few weeks. So that's good. QPR really need to somehow get from mid-table now into that top 8, so they're challenging for playoffs. And I don't know what they do really to go about. I don't know how they go about that because they need to spend money. But you said about any club. Any club needs to spend money to get to a higher place in the league table. So QPR fans, they'll need to be patient, I think, and you may find that you're mid-table for the next few years. But I'd rather be mid-table in Championship than fighting to stay up relegation. So. Yeah, 2-0 Millwall.
Portsmouth versus Leicester. Portsmouth 2 wins on the bounce for Portsmouth. Unbeaten in 4 as well. 2 draws previous to that. I can't see Leicester going here and getting anything. Leicester currently no winning 5, 6, whatever it is. Lost the last game. 3 draws and then a loss previous to that. One of them draws was against Sheffield Wednesday as well. So for me, I think Leicester are going down. I said weeks ago that I thought they'd stay up, but I think Leicester have got the squad capable to go up, but I think the mentality is very Rotherham United this season. I just think they've give up. I think they've down tools. I don't think they want to stay up. And I think Portsmouth haven't. Portsmouth, 2 wins and 2 draws together, really, pulled themselves away from that bottom. It's last chance saloon for Leicester, but we've been saying that for the last 3 game weeks, and they've done nothing. So for me, Portsmouth at home as well, very hard place to go, long journey. Are their players going to be up for it? I don't think so. I think they're going to let the fans down like Rotherham have their fans this season. I just think they're gutless, spineless, and they are going to go and play in League One, which is an absolute shambles to say that they won the Premier League not too long ago. Absolute shambles that squad is going to get relegated. But I don't see them going to Portsmouth and winning. I've gone 1-1.
You did say, let me just clear this up, because you did say about 2 seconds ago, you said, I can't see Leicester getting anything from this game, but you've got them as a draw.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, but I meant kind of anything as a win, because a draw's no good for them. Yeah. They've got to get a win, and it's purely because you've put a win as well.
Yeah, I know.
A point is something. I get that, but it's not enough. It's a better result for Portsmouth because it keeps them away as well. But I don't see them getting a win. No chance.
I only asked you because you know that we'll get comments saying, Lee Bush has said not going to get anything, but he's got them a draw. So I thought I better just ask you.
I mean, anything that they want a win. Anything now for Leicester has got to be wins. They can't. Draws are no good for them. Yeah, especially against Portsmouth.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But if they didn't beat Sheffield Wednesday, what is making you believe they're going to beat Portsmouth? I don't know. Yeah, you give the reasonings, but yeah.
So so obviously, I've obviously gone 1-0 Leicester, and the main 2 reasons really I've gone for a Leicester win, and a bit like Lee, we've been having Leicester to win for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they keep drawing and not winning. I mean, to be fair to Leicester, they're not really losing as such. I mean, they lost the last game, but they have drawn, I think, 3 out of the last 5 games. The reason I've gone 1-0 is because
that was another loss as well. So their form is lost, drawn, lost.
Lost, yeah. So the reason I've gone 1-0 is there's 2 reasons. So one, Portsmouth, fair play to them, they've won the last 2, and it's taken Portsmouth up to 19th on 48 points. I think that Portsmouth will go into this game thinking, tell you what, we've done enough now, and I think they'll relax, and I think that'll be wrong of them. And the reason I think they'll do that is because I think they've already done it. I mean, Portsmouth being in this position where they've got to 18th, so I think they got to 17th once, and everyone thought they're not going down. There's 5 teams between them and relegation. I know the points was close, but there's no way all 5 teams are going to go above them. And then about a month later, they were in bottom 3. And I just think they're going to do something similar. And also, I wouldn't write off Gary Rowett. You're right, Lee. The form Leicester is terrible. They went to Sheffield Wednesday and they only drew. Now, I watched that game, and to be honest with you, they only drew because a lot of luck for Wednesday. And Sheffield Wednesday's goalkeeper, he had one of the best games I've ever seen. He was absolutely superb.
For that, Leon Charles.
Leon Charles, is it? It's Summit Charles, isn't it? Yeah, but Pierce Charles. Leicester hit the bar, I think 2 or 3 times, hit the post 2 or 3 times, and it was just unlucky. And like I said, Guy Rowett, he's the master at going to a difficult game and grinding out a 1-0 win. And I think you're right, though. Leicester, very similar to Rotherham, because you look on paper, you think, bloody hell, that 11, what they're putting out is unbelievable. But I just wonder if it's a team of individuals like Rotherham rather than a team united, and I think that could be their issue. I think they've still got a chance of stopping up. I'm not going to say yet whether I think they're stopping up, but I think they win this game to give themselves a chance. So, I've gone 1-0 Leicester.
Fair enough. Next up, Bristol City versus Norwich. Bristol, another team, middle of the table. Norwich, flying. Just seem to be flying at the minute. Where are Norwich now? I know they lost the last game, but the 9th. Yeah, I just see Norwich winning this 3-1.
Yeah, it's not the most interesting game, is it? Obviously, you've got 9th place Norwich versus 10th place Bristol City. And it is unfortunate. Norwich, obviously, form's been excellent. It's unfortunate for them that the one game they do lose is against Ipswich, their local rivals. But it is what it is. I do think, I've said it before on here, I do think that Norwich will be challenging towards the top next season. So, yeah, another Norwich win for me. I think Bristol City, again, it's not been a bad season. I mean, 10th place, they should be aiming for that top 6 as they can.
Unbeaten in 3 as well.
I was going to say, yeah, Roy Hodgson's come in and he's managed to turn it around. And, you know, people do laugh, you know, when like a manager of Roy Hodgson's age, like 70 plus, and he comes in and everyone will say, oh, he's past it. Well, he's obviously not, because he's managed to turn the form round. And
with football managers, I mean, it's not like a football player. They don't rely on their
pace,
pace and whatever.
Body, yeah.
Age, really, in a football manager's sense, can be a benefit because they've been there, done it, and they've been in sort of situations. So sometimes I think as they get older, they get better. I think Neil Warnock actually got better as he got older as a manager.
I agree.
He get better and better and better. And Roy Hodgson could be one of them. Alex Ferguson, he was another one. He just carried on evolving to better and better things as he got older. So I don't think football management age is really.
I agree. Yeah, because remember Warnock as well. Warnock actually struggled to get United promoted in his first stint. I'm sure he was there 4 or 5 years before he managed to get them up. And you know, in this day and age, he'd have been sacked after 2 or 3 years at most. So he was quite fortunate.
Yeah, he struggled at start. Alex Ferguson and nearly got sacked.
He did, of course.
The memorable Mark Robbins goal.
Famous Mark Robbins goal, Mark Robbins also played for Norwich as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So super. Next up, we got Hull versus Birmingham. Now, I think this is a tough game. This Hull City.
I don't know if the scores are right there because mine's 2-1. I actually have Hull 2, Birmingham 1. So I don't know if yours is right.
Yeah, mine's right. I've gone 2-2. So is yours 2-1?
Yeah, mine's 2-1 to Hull. Yeah.
So I've gone 2-2. So very similar. I think Hull are decent at home as well. But Birmingham are another side. Very, very peculiar. Birmingham. They lost 3 in a row, but then they've won the last game. Hull lost the last game. Hull haven't won in 3. So I think it's just got a draw written all over it for me. I've gone 2-2.
Yeah, and I actually agree with what we're saying. The only reason I've got a Hull win is just because they're clinging on to those playoff spots. And look, they need a win, really, because the last 3 games they've drawn 2, lost 1. They've only won 1 in 5. They're still 4 points clear of 7th place Wrexham and 5 points clear of 8th place Derby. So they're not under a lot of pressure, but this is the sort of game what they probably need to win to try and maintain those playoff push. And I think if they do they probably only need 4 points for Hull out of these last 4 games, and that's them guaranteed. I don't see Wrexham, getting, if you like, 3 wins out of 4. So I think that'll be enough for Hull. And a lot, as we were saying, in the record before we were in the lobby recording, they've got a few Rotherham players, Hull, so I quite like him to do well. And they're a Yorkshire side as well, so it's always good to see some Yorkshire sides do well.
Yeah,
Birmingham, just quickly on Birmingham. To me, actually, it's ended up in a disappointing season, Birmingham. Now, it's funny because Birmingham are in 15th place, incredibly, but they're only 1 point behind 9th. which is incredible. Sorry, 2 points down ninth. So there's only 2 points that separate ninth place Norwich and 15th place Birmingham, which is incredible. And to me, I think I said either last week or the week before that I thought it was a good season for Birmingham because they were about 9th or 10th at the time, just missed out on players, and I thought that was a good season considering they'd won promotion. But funnily enough, now they've lost 3 out of 4. They won the last game, lost 3 out of 4. It doesn't look as good now because they're going to end up finishing, 8th bottom or 9th bottom. So, yeah, it's strange, really. But I actually think he's under pressure, the Birmingham manager. And it wouldn't surprise me if he got sacked at the end of the season because I know Birmingham fans aren't happy with where they are. So, yeah, interesting.
Next up, Preston versus West Bromwich Albion. So I've gone 1-0 Preston. West Brom. West Brom are fighting for their lives. I've heard they could be getting a points deduction as well. If that happens, I think they will go down.
Do you know what that's for then, Lee? What's the point deduction for? Do you know what it's for?
It's something to do with breaking the
FFP.
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. And from what I read, that what the fault was is you have to get a points deduction in that season, so they won't be able to get it onto next season as well.
Right.
So
well, it'd be really hard. It'd be really hard to get a points deduction with 4 games to go, and they didn't know about it. I mean, that sounds harsh to me.
Yeah. Well, it's just what I read. It may not be true, you know what I mean? But it's what I've seen. But I think they'll edge this game. I don't think Preston's got anything to play for. And I do rate West Brom. I think they're too big a club to go down. But like I say, if they get the points deduction, I don't think they've got enough points. I don't think they'll get enough points on the board to stay up. I think they will stay up if they don't get a points deduction, but if they do, I think they'll go down. But they'll win this game for me, 1-0.
Yeah, obviously, I agree with you in terms of not many goals. Obviously, I've gone 0-0, as you can see there. I've gone 0-0 really because you look at Portsmouth and West Brom's form, and if you take their combined 10 games, there's been 5 draws in there. Yeah, so half the games are draws. So
your score wouldn't shock me either, mate. To be honest, I've just edged it due to the fact that West Brom are fighting for their lives with a pending points deduction as well. I think they're gonna want to win more than Preston because they've got nothing to play for.
One thing that does go against me a little bit is that West Brom have actually drawn their last 2 games 0-0. So, it's unlikely to draw 3 in a row at 0-0. But, to be fair to James Morrison, obviously, again, all my hands up. I was the one who said I felt West Brom were going down.
And West Brom have actually drawn 3 in a row now. So
they have. But
to draw this one, it'd be 4 in a row. I can't.
It would be, yeah. Again, it shows that the new manager or the temporary manager has got them all to be. That's what he's done. Yeah. He's come in, got them all to be, and he's done a good job. I have to say, after all, he's done a good job. I mean, what I would say is, ignoring the points deduction, they're not out of it yet. They're only 2 points clear of Oxford, and Oxford will beat Wednesday. So that's a guaranteed 3 points. So West Brom still need at least another win to keep themselves up. So, I've just gone 0-0 because both teams have drawn a lot in the last few games. I think it'll continue.
Next up, Sheffield Wednesday versus Charlton. Oh, it looks like we've gone the same here. 1-0 I've gone to Charlton. Sheffield Wednesday, I mean, they're giving me a bit of banter this week, but, I mean... They've got the record of the worst team in the history of the Championship. Looks like almost nailed on from what I've read today. They're going to get a 15-point deduction next season. So we possibly could not see Wednesday for a long time. So if Rotherham win League Two, I think Wednesday could get relegated with Barnsley and Doncaster next season. So, I think it's worrying times for Sheffield Wednesday. They're the worst team I've ever seen play in the Championship. They've not put up a single win for... How many games have they won this season?
One league game, that's it, yeah.
I mean, that is embarrassing. If I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan, I'm just turning I'm just never watching the game. Like, I'm just turning and forgetting about it. Chansiri is a legend now, so I'm happy with what he's done.
Viva Chansiri, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So if you can support his cans of tuna, I've heard they're really nice. So go and buy cans of tuna and support Chansiri because he's a legend everywhere in Yorkshire apart from Hillsborough.
Yeah, and yeah, I've gone the same as yourself. I agree. Like, a lot of obviously we live local to, or our team's from the same South Yorkshire as Wednesday, and so we hear a lot of noise, and it's almost 50-50 with regards to manager. You've got half of fans saying not good enough, won one game, doesn't matter that he's got a weak side, he should win more than that. And the other half are saying, come on, guys, he's look at what he's had to work with. There's no wonder he's only got one win. So I have to say, I think this guy shouldn't be there next season. If I was a Wednesday fan, I'd be wanting him sacked because it doesn't really matter sometimes how poor your team are. You still get and grind out wins and draws and what have you. And, the fact they've won one game, and the funny enough, that was a game that was away from home as well, incredibly. So they've won 0 games at home. It's just ridiculous, really. And to me, if they keep this manager and they get the minus points, I'll tell you what, they're going down again Wednesday. Obviously, it depends on what they can do in the transfer market. I get that, but
I think they'll have a transfer ban again, won't they? I think the band aren't.
No, they can obviously sign free transfers. They can't. I don't do recruit anyone with money, but if I'm sat here, 1st of August, and it's still the same manager, they've not really brought a lot of players in, and they have got the 15-point deduction. I do think they're going down, and we can overtake them. Charlton, fair play to them. They've had a good season. After had a good season, promotion last season, and then managed to stuff up quite comfortably. They've not won in 5, but it doesn't matter because they've got 49 points. I did say, didn't I, 3 weeks ago, that Charlton will try and get a couple of draws. I think they're on 47 at the time, or 46. And I said they'd get a couple of draws to take them to 50. That's what they've done. They've got 2 draws in the last 5. That's given them 49. One more draw, and that's your magic number 50. It won't matter because they'll win this game anyway.
Fair enough. Next up, Southampton. I've gone 3-0 away at Swansea. I think Southampton, I think they're going to sneak up automatically. I really do.
You cheeky little bear. I said that before you cheeky bear.
No, you did, to be fair. You've been championing them for a while, but the games what I've watched them, they've been outstanding. Like what I've watched, and for me, I think they're actually better than Middlesbrough, and I think they're better than Ipswich, and I think they could potentially be a better team than, believe it or not, Coventry. But they've obviously they had a slow start, but they're firing on all cylinders, and I think they're going to get promoted. I mean, they're on form. 1-1-1-1-1 is basically what they've done. Form team of the division. I don't see them losing another game to the end of the season.
Do you think, right, just Lee, do you think, so they're in an FA Cup, is it semi-final, you think that'll affect them?
No, okay. I don't. I think breeds winning, and they're on a roll, and they're enjoying the football. You can see that when you watch them play, and I think they're going to be some force to stop at this level. I think, like I said, they've come from the Premier League anyway, aren't they? The Premier League side, Southampton, they always really have been. So I see them going back to the Premier League, and I'll tell you something. I think they'll be the strongest team next season that gets promoted. They're probably the only team that get promoted that stand a chance of staying in the Premier League. They get promoted.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I kind of do agree with that. I mean, it's funny because when I was like younger and we'd collect stickers, and I remember thinking when Southampton played at the Dell, and it was that really weird stadium and only held about 15,000 or whatever it were, and I can remember thinking these shouldn't be in top league. They're so small, it's unbelievable. But Rotherham played Southampton for the first time about 3-4 years ago, and I didn't realise how big a club they were actually.
They are.
Yeah, fairly new ground. I think they averaged 30,000. And they've been in Premier League a lot over the last 20, 30 years. They did spend that one season in the League One, though. But if you remember, they won the league and they also won the EFL trophy as well. So they literally did a clean sweep. So, I agree with you. I think they are going to get second. I think they're on a run. They've got to play Ipswich at home. That is a massive game, and I think they'll win that. And that is what will help them finish second. And I agree with you. I think out of the 3 teams that go up, so Coventry and Southampton probably could be six, and then obviously one from the playoffs. I agree. I think Southampton are the ones who have got more.
I agree with you. You have been championing for Southampton for a bit of time, and I thought, they've hit a bit of form, but then I've watched them a lot closely this last sort of couple of months, and I'm thinking, wow, these are decent. Do you know what I mean? And I've watched Coventry in that, and I don't think Coventry have got the level that Southampton have got in them. I think it just said, for instance, there's a playoff game, a playoff final, just said, for instance, and it were Coventry versus Southampton. I think Southampton would beat Coventry.
Yeah, I agree. I think because Coventry, and it's going to sound silly this because they're top of the league, but the reason why Coventry haven't kind of done even better is I just think they've had a little bit of inconsistency at like certain points of season. So like if you remember, they went 10, 12 points clear, 2 or 3 months ago, and you thought that's it, it's done. But then a month later, they were only like 2 points clear. So they had a month of like not really winning and only drawing, and that's why I think you're right. I think the only reason Southampton are going to finish second is because they just got the wrong manager in at the start. And it's funny, I actually like the manager they got in, that Will Still. I really rate him, but he just didn't work at Southampton. And if they didn't change the manager, a month earlier, they would have won league, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Watford versus Sheffield United. So I've upset a lot of Sheffield United fans as well. I do apologise. No, I don't. I absolutely believe that Chris Wilder has done a terrible job this season. And if he's not careful, he should get the sacked. I think they're one of the most underperforming sides in the division. The fact that the 17th is a disgrace. I know they won the last game. And they've got Watford, who I don't really rate. They're only in sort of 12th down, 1 in 3. So I'm going to go a 2-1 Sheffield United win. I think they'll sneak it. But I think they've massively underperformed Sheffield United this season. And I think if next season Neil Warnock doesn't get off to a flyer, Chris Wilder doesn't get off to a flyer, I think they'll get rid of him.
Interesting. My score is actually 2-2. I've gone for not 3-1. Just bear that in mind.
I don't know what's going on with the scores tonight.
Yeah, I think you took because my last game was 3-1, and I think it's just been copied across. That's all. So I half agree with what you were saying. Obviously, I think Wilder deserves a little bit more time than what you were suggesting, but I do agree they should have done better. When Wilder came in and got them away from relegation zone, they really should have gone on and built from that. And
I was championing for him. I'm saying I'll tell you now, Sheffield United are going to get in the playoffs. Blah blah blah. It just never happened. Like they just lost to terrible teams, and I don't know, just not performed at the level that the squad is capable of. I still say that I'd put that squad above nearly every other team in the league. They should be in the top 3 with that squad.
Interesting. Okay.
100%. I really do believe that. And I don't think Wilder's got the best out of them. I honestly don't. I don't think he's got the best out of that team. And when you talk about managers that are going backwards and probably past it, I think Wilder falls under that category. I don't think he's is been decent for a long time now. And I think if Sheffield United want to get back to the Premier League, he's definitely not a Premier League manager. He can't manage at that level. It's been proven before that he can't manage at that level. And I think that's why the board got rid of him when they did, because they thought they were going to go straight to the Premier League. And they know he's not good enough. He's not good enough for that level. So, yeah, he's not good enough for the Premier League. And they'd have to look for a new manager if they got promoted anyway.
Interesting. Okay, so again, Sheffield United fans, I'd love to hear your comments on that. I mean, he obviously, in while his first season at Premier League, he did get him into like 9th place, didn't he? But yeah, the next season, they obviously really struggled. Yeah, he went down. Yeah, he went down. Just quickly on Watford.
And what did he do? Was it Middlesbrough? Was it Middlesbrough went? He got
Middlesbrough and West Bromwich struggled that. Yeah. And Watford as well. Just quickly on Watford, not a great season for them. Mid-table. I always find with Watford that I know I've said this about Rovers and it's backfired for Rovers. Obviously, Rovers got a lot of individual players like Leicester, and it's not worked. I always find Watford are a team like that where they tend to have individual quality players, and what happens is if they're like losing or on a losing streak or not a winning streak, they'll get a random win because one of these players will get a win for them. You always used to say about the QPR lad, I can't remember his name, Adel Tarat, and he could win a game for QPR, but he wouldn't like turn up every week. And I just find Watford a little bit like that. So yeah, not a great season for them, mid-table, at least not. I'll tell you what I would say about Watford, right? Watford are a team who I don't think they've dropped below the Championship for years and years. I think that Watford might start heading towards the bottom, and I think they'll be in a relegation battle in the next 2 years. Just watch. That's what I think offer to Watford.
Quite a big club, Watford, been in the Premier League as well.
They have. But Leicester have been in Premier League and won it, and they're going down. Birmingham went down, they're in Premier League. I just think they're just a sort of club who they've been mid-table for a long time, and you always find that if clubs are staying mid-table, they don't close that gap on the top 6 or whatever. Eventually, it goes against them, they end up near bottom. And I mean, like QPR, perfect example. Was it Warnock? Under Warnock, playoffs, promotion. When they came down, they were in and around the top again. Then they went mid-table, and then they've been near bottom for the last 3 or 4 years, and they've been close to going down.
Line between that mid-table and pushing forward to the top, and then you either do that or you sort of drop.
Exactly. You
can't stay mid-table every sort of season.
No. And that's why I think Watford,
doing it. But
and that's why I do.
Now we're at a crossroads where they'll either progress or they'll start to dip as well.
And that's why I think Watford will go towards the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, Wrexham versus Stoke City. I've gone 2-1 to Wrexham. At home, it's going to be a tight game. Stoke are not no mugs, but I think Wrexham have got to win. They're going to have a party song crowd behind them, and I think they'll see them over the line. And they've got so much heart in that team. Any team that's got Ollie Rathbone in it will have heart. Something we've missed at our club since he left, basically. You need players with that heart and the desire to want to win, and I think Wrexham will have that, and they'll edge that game 2-1.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wrexham will win. I've got 3-2. I think there'll be goals in the game. Wrexham, they've scored 63 and conceded 60, so a lot of goals to go in. I mean, what I will say is it just shows how good Southampton are, because Wrexham, Wrexham at home have been relatively strong. And like you say, it's because they've had a good atmosphere behind them. They've had nothing to lose mentality, so they go and attack. Well, Southampton went there the other day and won 5-1, which is incredible. And I watched the game as well, and to be fair, Southampton were unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's a shame. It's a shame that Wrexham then lost the next game, and I think those 2 defeats next to each other is what's cost them the playoff place. I mean, they've still got a chance, 4 points behind Hull. We both think they'll win this game. But yeah, I just think they've given themselves too much to do with only 4 games remaining. And I think they'll win this, but I don't think they'll make playoffs. Stoke, an average season for them. What Rovers has done is he's stabilised it a little bit because, again, Stoke have been flirting with relegation for a number of years now. And to be fair to Robins, although they're 16th, they've never looked in danger of going down. And what I would say to Stoke fans is it'll be a frustrating season again for them because ever since Stoke come down from Premier League like 10 years ago, they've been expected to go back up and they're not really anywhere near it. This is what worries about Rovers, actually. Stoke, they've had a lot of managers in the last 10 years and not one manager seems to get a good tune out of Stoke at the minute. And they've had some successful managers in there. You know, Alex Neil, who's now working wonders at Millwall, didn't really work, for example. Mark Robins, who's doing brilliant everywhere he's gone. Is it working? You'd say probably not because they're still towards bottom. But what I would say, Stoke fans, is if you give Robins patience, don't just go and sack him, and eventually he will get you up there, I promise you.
And then last up, we've got the big game. I've just noticed we've gone the same score if the score's right.
That's right, yeah.
To Middlesbrough 1, I've gone for. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I'm just purely picking Ipswich because they're at home. They're very strong at home, very difficult to beat. It's going to be a nip and tuck game, but I think Ipswich will come out on top. 2-1.
Yeah, very similar. I've always gone 2-1 as well. Middlesbrough, I can't believe they've done it again where they were in a great position 4 or 5 weeks ago and yet again they just seem to have bottled it. It doesn't matter what manager in charge.
I did say to you, Middlesbrough always bottle it.
I know. Well, this is the thing. They're
like the Arsenal of Championship.
They are, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't matter what manager's in charge. I mean, this manager they've got, the Swedish guy, I've been impressed with him, really. And I honestly thought that this season, this is the season where they don't bottle it, and they have done again. And to me, that's the main reason I do think they'll win this, because Middlesbrough's form, not 1 winning 5, drawn 3, lost 2. Ipswich obviously won at form sides, and they're in pole position to go up as well. I mean, if you're a Southampton fan, you'll be watching this hoping that Middlesbrough can sort of get a draw. And if Middlesbrough do get a draw, I would then back Southampton to go on and get that second. But yeah, same as you, Ipswich at home. They've just had a defeat, so they'll want to bounce back straight away. And I think they will do. 2-1 Ipswich.
Super, and that brings us to the end. Did you add the scores up, Bez, from last week?
No, I didn't get a chance in the end, no. Well, what we'll do it, and because we started it halfway through, we decided not to kind of have a mini competition. So I'll add the scores up at the end of the season, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, what we'll do next season is when we're doing these scores, we're going to do a review of the scores as well. So we will do the predictions and then a review of the scores, and then the scores on the doors between me and Bez. So it'll be a bit more competitive. Next season with the content. This season we've just kind of done it halfway through just to see how it went, and then obviously that's the way we've done it. So next season it'll be a little bit different, but thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll be back next week for some more FBL predictions. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everyone. See ya.